It's a pleasure to be with you today to bring you a brief update. Today I'm located at the border, the U.S. border with Mexico, just over my shoulder, just behind me. It's interesting the time we're in right now. Just in the latter part of September, here in Mexico, there was an incident that many people refer to and will recognize the name Ayotzinapa. It's where the tragic story of 43 young people lost their life in Mexico, in the city. All the details haven't come out yet exactly what happened, but the reports have come out, or many believe that their lives were taken. When I entered Mexico just 4 or 5 days ago, it was the very night that President Obama was going to be giving a speech to the United States having to do with immigration. And so we felt like this was a very key time and wanted to take a moment to speak to both of those issues in both of the nations, was something that by the grace of God would help us all. First of all, I want to talk about the issue here in Mexico. Many protests, much unrest is going on in the nation. And I just want to say this, what I've sensed and what I felt from being here is this, and history records that out of crises comes long-term change. And so while it may be a very sad and difficult hour for the families and many of the citizens of Mexico, we have to look beyond that, and we have to see that out of these crises, God can use this to be an awakening moment to where history can rewrite, if you will, the future of Mexico. And so I'm praying that out of the outcry that would be built on a foundation of hope, that this nation can be shifted to a better future, that by the blessing and the grace of God and the engagement of God's people and just the awakening that's happening in the culture, that the nation could be shifted and changed. We are praying that justice will prevail, justice for the families, and even justice on anyone who's done evil to these young people. And then finally, two other thoughts. It's interesting, we just discovered the other day out of 43 students the linking of Psalm 43. I encourage you to go read that, make that a prayer, and I want to mobilize prayer across America and into Mexico on behalf of this situation. Psalm 43, go read that and use that as a prayer launching point. And then finally, I felt like the Lord said to me that the blood of the young people that has been spilt has not been in vain, that God can use that, will use that to make it a turning point for Mexico. So I want to ask my American friends, my U.S. friends, the prayer movement there, as well as those in Mexico, let's mobilize intercession to see a nation turn and shifted for a time such as this. And so we're going to look beyond emotions, and we're going to look with a sense of optimism and faith and engagement of the people of Christ, the body of Christ, the people of God, to shift a nation at a critical time. Out of crises can come change. And then finally, for a moment, I want to speak to the issue of President Obama's speech and look beyond, again, the personalities that are involved in just a few points. My concern is that government action or inaction, and both apply. What's happened is it's been positioned, if you will, and fueled by just simply politics, not by people wanting to govern, not by people wanting to lead. So what seems to be vacant, what seems to be the great void, is there's no unifying vision, and we don't have leaders that are stepping to the front that, if you will, offer a unifying vision today. There's just separation and political politics, if you will. So this is a call today here from the border of U.S. and Mexico. May God raise up leaders who can cast a unifying vision that can lead people forward, not steeped in just animosity and division and discord and confusion and politics. May God raise up leaders for a time such as this. My prayer is that in the midst of between now and the end of this year and the beginning of 2015, may the Lord position around the discussion table having to do with the issue of immigration wise people, those who understand with the wisdom of God can come to the table and address the issue of immigration and bring the wisdom of God to that. Move beyond, if you will, government stagnation to implementing the wisdom of God on behalf of so many millions of people that this is affecting. And so finally, we would close with this. I believe for the United States, I believe for Mexico, that our futures are grand and good futures. They're futures that God would bless us with, that are filled with hope. And so my prayer is, may God bless America, may God bless Mexico. And our, if you will, declaration is that both nations, standing here on this border, we decree today both nations have a good future. And we say again, may they be filled with hope and optimism and faith. Thank you. May the Lord bless you.